the religious life and what it means for the life of the church. And I briefly mentioned third orders. The third order is beginning with St. Francis and all the other major religious orders having a third order. This pilgrimage initially was an attempt on my part, knowing that I have almost 1,500 third order members in the United States for the Society of St. Pius X. This was an effort on my part for it to be an event for third order members. And there are many that did heed the call. There's probably a dozen of you that are in the third order of the Society of St. Pius X. But since it was in my mind to be an event of this type, something where maybe we would get a few hundred third order members from the United States, something like the Angelus press conferences to converge here in Quito for this pilgrimage. It's a special place, this city, this historic center. The rest is probably garbage. But the historic center is an impressive place. You can almost sense the presence of God in a way with the religious communities. You can sense the faith that at least was had in the past, at least. But you can see that there's still faith there. It's a special place. It's unique to have this many religious communities in one area. I mean, Rome is probably the only other place that has such a thing. You go to other countries, they don't have that. So I thought it would be good for third order members, seeing how as third order members, they are the ones that engage themselves in some particulars of their religious order. So you have the Carmelites have a third order, the Dominicans have a third order, the Benedictines, the Oblates of St. Benedict. You have the Franciscans, and there are other third orders. What's the idea behind the third order? It's really, really simple. Because third order is the general definition. It is lay participation. So all of you are laity, except in a couple. Laity. It's a way for lay people to participate in a religious order without going all the way. And the idea is that you look at all of the things that that particular religious order has for its sanctification. Let's say it's 12 different items on the list. We have community prayer, we have community recreation and community food, and we have rosary together, and we have divine office, and we have all these things that would be part of religious life. But then you realize I'm a dad, and I've got kids and a wife, and I don't really have the time to pray the divine office every day. Or I don't really have the time to make it to Compline at night because I'm putting the kids to bed. Or I don't have the time to do this, that, or the other thing. And so the idea of a third order is you take that list of 12 things, just as an example, that belong to the religious community, the professed monks and nuns, and then I can do that one, I can do that one, I can do that one, maybe one more. Now I have 4. And I can participate in these 4 things that belong to their sanctification, knowing that when I do those things, I can be sanctified like them. That's the idea of the third order. It's a really simple thing. So what belongs to the third order of the Society of St. Pius X, which I have to say up front, the third order of the Society of St. Pius X is really just a name, because it's not really a third order. Father, can you explain what that means? There are different associations of laity defined by the law of the church. For example, the Arch Confraternity of St. Stephen for altar service. That is a lay association regulated by the laws of the church. Third orders are also lay associations defined by the law of the church. But here's the thing with third orders. Third orders need papal initiative, papal approbation in order for them to exist. And only the oldest religious orders have third orders. Not one, as I said last night, I'm not a religious. And I don't belong to a religious order. The Society of St. Pius X is not a religious order. The Benedictines are a religious order, but I'm not. The Society of St. Pius X is a clerical institute. And it doesn't even belong to clerical institutes, which are not religious orders, to have third orders which belong to religious orders. So really, it's like a confraternity. And the Archbishop founded it in 1980 because there were plenty of people experiencing difficulty in their parish situation with the third order that they belong to. Father, I belong to the Third Order Franciscans, and they are happy-clappy. They do prayers before meal like you've never seen before. It's like some kind of seance combined with folk music or something like that. Father, I can't stand it anymore. I got to get away from the Third Order Franciscans that I belong to. Or Father, the Third Order Dominicans, the Carmelites, they're doing this, that, and the other thing. I can't stand the new Mass anymore. And so people who belong to third orders approached the society, approached the Archbishop and said, can you do something, provide some kind of structure for us? Give us those few points by which the society's members are sanctified. So how am I sanctified? Well, the priests, they're sanctified by their breviary and their Mass, right? But they're also sanctified by hearing confessions. Yes, we actually get sanctified by hearing all your sins. It's God turning an evil into a good. But also preaching, we actually get graces for this too. But then we have our spiritual reading, we have our scripture reading, we have our study, we have our community prayer, prime, sexting, compline, we have rosary together, we eat together in community, which is a safeguard for us. Those are the things that we do. Well, what things of that can you take? Well, you can take a daily Mass if it's available. You can take a daily rosary if it's available. The Archbishop said that there would be no televisions in the houses of the Society of St. Pius X, and that you should find your repose in the tabernacle. You should find your repose in the tabernacle. And that's a tough one for people today. And I'm not necessarily talking about the old-fashioned television screen. That could be your computer screen. That could be your for hours on end. Hours on end. That can be your Twitter and Instagram accounts. All of those things. Father Pagliarani actually talked about that recently, how entertainment has shifted with the internet. You know, in the 80s, it was, General Hospital and Days of Our Lives and daytime television. Some of you old timers remember that stuff. Now it's moved on to like Netflix and streaming and Hulu and YouTube and all this kind of stuff. And then somebody who's actually doing that, no, I'm not watching TV. No, I'm not watching TV. You're distracting yourself. You're breaking any kind of recollection. You're filling your mind with garbage most of the time. You're wasting so much time with these things. And that's what the Archbishop, when he said that. And I get a kick out of some people. Father, I don't want to be a third order member of the society. I want to be a third order Dominican. Because their rule doesn't say you can't watch television. It's because it was founded in the 1200s, a little before the television came out. But surely it's the spirit of all the third orders, because you don't want to fill yourselves with that kind of distraction. But those are things, your daily mass, your daily rosary, 10, 15 minutes of mental prayer, silent prayer, which is hard to gain that practice. You have your reading, your spiritual reading. The Archbishop said that there should be at each of the priories or each of the chapels a small little library for third order members. So even though he didn't specifically say, do 25 minutes of spiritual reading a day, when he said they should have their libraries, I'm presuming that means you should read the books that are in it. So spiritual reading. It's not actually that hard. And when people do engage themselves or profess themselves in this third order, this confraternity, if you will, they become sharers in the graces. When you receive the brown scapular, for example, do you know what the prayer says? It says, you now have access to all the spiritual treasures of the Carmelite order. All of the graces and gifts that they have given to the church, you share in. And when you pray, you also contribute to that treasury. So also with the society. You see that the society is doing a good work today. You have the opportunity to partake in that, to share in the treasure chest, and to put into it, all for the glory of God and the glory of His church. So it's something to think about. It's not for everybody, I will say that. On the application form for the third order, I have the signature of your priest. You know what that's there for? Dear Father, because it's Father Dreher, for example, and he's responsible for signing the paper. Dear Father, please do not sign their paper if they are super weird, if they are totally imbalanced, if tomorrow they're going to go to sedevacantism or the resistance, or, whatever. Please don't sign. So in that sense, it's probably not for everyone. Objectively, essentially, it is for everyone, because these means of sanctification, there are plenty of people who do all of these things already and are not members of any third order. And that's actually good. It would be great to have access to the spiritual graces. But it's great that they're doing those things without it. So you can think about that, and I would say that it's a good application to everything that we're looking at here in this historic center, everything that we're looking at with the convent and the miraculous statue of Our Lady as a religious. We're going to explain that. Sometimes faithful ask, well, Father, I'm not a nun, what can I do?